Welcome back to another episode of Two Average Husbands. I'm your host, Jake.
And I'm your host, Kyle. Welcome back, everybody. I have a fake fun fact for you of the week. You ready for this?
I'm here for the fake fun.
Jake, do me a favor. Hold up to the camera here. What color ring is on your finger? Look at that. A black ring. I wear a black ring. Jake, do you know what that symbolizes?
The death of your marriage.
Guess what it really symbolizes? It symbolizes that you're married, but guess what someone tried to convince Carly that it meant this weekend?
What?
So Carly was out with her friend in another town, and she's out, and her friend is single, right? So mingling a little bit, single and mingling. And she is talking to this guy for a while, and I can't remember exactly what came up, but they were both like, ooh, that's kind of a red flag. Well, then Carly looks down and notices this guy has a fucking ring on his finger. And she's like, I think the ring on his finger is the bigger red flag.
Yeah, I think
right?
That's the problem.
And the guy goes, it's a black ring. That means I have an open marriage. And so Carly's like, no, that's not what that means. My husband wears a black ring. I'm also married. A black ring is not an excuse to cheat on your fucking wife.
I know 1,000 people who wear black rings, and I know all of their relationship statuses are not open marriages.
100% that is not what that means in any way, shape, or form, but that is what a guy tried to convince. So that is your fake fun fact of the
There we
nice.
go. I'm wearing
Fake
3
fun
of them,
fact of the
so
week
I'm
is that somebody thinks in this world that means you have an open marriage.
wildly open marriage there. Let me throw 3 of them suckers on.
Yeah,
But
there
hey,
you go.
that's a good fun fake fact.
Fake fun fact.
Fake fun fact. There we go.
Dave, Uncle Kyle, welcome in. Fun fact,
As
breaking in new
always.
shoes sucks. Yes, it does.
You know what shoes I found out are the worst to break in? They're my
What's that?
favorite shoes, and it's the Vans. Like not the full canvas ones, but the ones that I have are like they're the canvas style, but they're a little bit like thicker.
Yes.
I'll pull them up.
I know what you're
Imagine
talking
like
about.
flat Vans,
Yeah, I know what
not
you're
the
talking
skate shoes ones, but kind of. The back of them it's so hard. It's
Yeah.
so stiff that is probably the most pain I've ever had breaking in a pair of shoes.
I think my heels are permanently fucked up from wearing Vans for so long.
Probably. You
Because
probably
the-
don't even notice it.
The back, I've noticed the pain in my heels now as an older person because I think I've been wearing these fucking shoes for too long. Absolutely no heel support. Anyway, we should probably have a conversation about that sometime. Like, what's the worst thing that there is to break in?
I'll have way different answers than most people.
Yours are going to be like my baseball glove.
Gloves, bats. There's a lot.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a lot of my points.
I don't know.
But hey,
be
is
kind of
this
a
your
tough one.
first topic? Is this what we're starting
It's not.
off with?
I was just
Okay,
curious.
Perfect.
I'm about to have to break in some snowboard boots.
That is
But we
true.
could talk about, and those are going to be kind of gross to break in. I know that for a fact, because those are stiff as shit too. All right. Anyway, there's your fake fun fact. Jake, what are you drinking? We'll start there.
I'm starting with Imprint Beer Company's Smoogie, which is a strawberry blueberry waffle cone sour type smoothie beer. It also doesn't have the alcohol percentage on here, which makes me feel like I'm about to die. I feel like that's my sign that it's like 12%, and I just have no idea. I actually could look it up.
Uncle Kyle, my aunt has wide feet, and she literally custom orders all of her shoes to not have such a painful break-in period. Anyway, I'm starting off with, I have a really weird combination today, so it's kind of unfortunate, but I'm going to start off with the one that I really want to drink, which is Fall River Brewing Company's Irish Coffee Cream Nitro Stout.
Sounds
It is
good.
one of those that you need to pour vigorously.
Yep, hard pour.
So I'm going to give it a shot, even though that has a tendency to never freaking work out for me. But this is supposed to be like a caramely stout, so I'm excited about it.
I like it.
Best enjoyed outdoors. I'm kind of outdoors. I'm not in my house, I guess. Kind of in my garage.
Oh, this is only like 6%. Thank God. I was not mentally prepared to have a 12%er to start the day off.
Pour
Vigorously. I always pour vigorously because it's the proper way to pour beer.
Oh, what a perfect fit. Just perfectly fits this glass.
That's nice.
Nice
That's a-
little
that's
pour
a-
there, right up to the top.
Secretly satisfying thing.
It's a good one. All right, Jake, you ready for the first topic?
Always.
Here we go. This is a combined topic because two things have happened over the last week since we last did our podcast Actually, multiple things have happened in two separate categories, but I want to talk about it all together. We could really do it one at a time. I don't care. One, the United States has shot down a Chinese balloon and then at least two other UFOs, if you will, which, by the way, a UFO does not mean aliens. A UFO is just, no kidding, an unidentified flying object. So they shot down two
it doesn't not mean aliens. I'm just saying.
True, I guess. It is unidentified, so it could be aliens. That is true. So that happened, so we can talk about that first. And what I want to know is, do you think we should have shot it down? Mostly with the Chinese balloon, not the other two things. Or if you have any other opinions. So we can start there and stop, and I break, and I'll talk about the second thing if you want. Otherwise, I can introduce both right now.
I think we probably should have shot it down.
Okay.
I don't think the uproar over it should have been as big as it was for a lot of people, especially after information came out that this happened in previous presidencies as well.
Yep.
So for me, it's one of those things where it's like they said it's maybe I'm too nice to, like, China said it was a weather balloon. I'm inclined to generally believe that, even if it's not. I don't really care.
I don't believe that shit for a second, but that's okay.
My goal in life is just to make it without any major wars. So as long as I make it to like 60 and we're not in a major war, I'm cool with it. As long as I'm old enough that I don't get drafted, I'm fine. So I'm going to believe China for now. But honestly, I don't care. I don't think realistically it could have done much more than is like I don't see the benefit of the balloon. Like, what is it accomplishing that something else isn't? Like, people are like, imaging. We got Google Maps, dog. I can find anything.
I'd say you're a little misinformed on that. So,
I can find mostly anything.
A couple things. And the reason, like, the United States wanted to recover the pieces of it, right, or to find out what the capabilities of the balloon were specifically. So they're going to very quickly know whether or not it was a weather balloon or not based on what they pick up, which I'm almost guaranteeing it's not a fucking weather balloon. But anyway, on top of that, you're looking at, it's not just the possibility of imagery, which is definitely a possibility, right? Like, they could have a high quality camera, which maybe it's better than the fidelity of what you could get on Google Maps, right? So maybe it's a higher fidelity. Yeah. Also, if you didn't know this, Google Maps isn't generally going over military bases and mapping the shit out of a military base, which is what they're suspected of having done, was flying deliberately over United States military bases with this thing. So
I have a question though. How are you like navigating a balloon?
That's a great question, and it was in one of the articles that's out there that basically they were, I think it's like assumed at first and reconfirmed later. I'd have to look at exactly what the article said, but to make a long story short, because of the way, like the path of travel that went over the states and like went directly to like basically high interest points like military bases, they're assuming that they had some capability to steer it. I don't know whether the full answer on that ever came out, but it wasn't just being driven by the wind, because the path was like, I think, too deliberate. So you can look that up. But some sort of a vectoring capability on the balloon itself. And then Uncle Kyle said the Chinese balloon should have gotten shot down in Montana. I'm so close to agreeing with you, but in my opinion, we should have shot it down before it ever went over the states, which it first crossed into Alaska, I think, and it shouldn't have ever even gotten that far, in my opinion.
I don't have a Washington Post account, so I can't read
So
this.
dumb.
But this is stating that basically we've been tracking it since the island, it came off of the island that it launched from near China.
Yep.
Like, we've been tracking it.
Yep.
So, was aimed for Hawaii, but was blown off course. This is from Reuters an hour ago. Down Chinese balloon, aimed for Hawaii, but was blown off course.
Is that from a Chinese spokesperson that it was going for Hawaii?
This is from U.S. officials, speaking on a condition of anonymity. That it looked like it was heading for Guam and Hawaii, but was blown off course by prevailing winds. Drifted across Alaska, then Canada, then the central United States before it was shot down off the coast of South Carolina. Tracked it basically from the start. It has recovered the electronics from the balloon as well as large sections of the vessel itself. That's all this article states. But
the big thing is like, there are treaties with even like, specifically like nuclear treaties with other nuclear capable countries where we have like, They have like opportunities to enforce treaties, whether it be inspecting, so whatever. It's not like they're flying something over the United States to like do treaty enforcement or look at the weather. That doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
Like they're there because probably there's some capability on that device that is a higher fidelity or better quality than what they could otherwise get. Otherwise, why would you risk it, right? And maybe their answer is because previous administrations have allowed it, and so why not keep doing it? But the big thing is like, you wouldn't do this unless there was a benefit, right? Like from a cost benefit scenario, specifically because of the global tensions, right? You don't just go and do this type of a thing unless you perceive that you're going to get some sort of a value out of it, because it risks so much, like we're seeing right now, right? You're seeing a shift in the political environment because of this, which could really segue into my second part of this, but instead I want to finish thoughts here. So my point is that yes, I think we should have shot it down. I think we did the right thing. I think it should have happened sooner. And I don't think that anybody should be allowed to fly something unapproved over the United States. That's basically like my whole bottom line there.
Yeah. I generally like, I recognize the severity of it, but it doesn't like, I don't know. To me, it doesn't seem like a large deal, but regardless, if something comes over our airspace, like we're well within our right to shoot it down. If we can't identify what it is otherwise, even if we can identify what it is and it shouldn't be there, like I see no reason not to shoot it down. Maybe we don't use a $400,000 missile to shoot it down. Maybe we find something a little bit cheaper. I'm just saying.
Part of the problem with that is the altitude.
Yeah, at the height.
Because it was flying at 60,000 feet. So
yeah.
That's part of the problem. Or something like that. Somewhere close to that. The other thing is you said, and I want to quickly touch on this because I think it's important. You can open source look at some really, really, really interesting shit about how Chinese states representatives manipulate media, and they do it in some really fucking crazy ways. And so for me, like to say like I believe them, they said it's a weather balloon, like not a fucking chance, dude. Like
I don't
they do
believe
some
them, but
crazy shit.
But like, so when I say I don't like, I believe them or I don't believe them, I like. My thought process is like, it really doesn't matter what they say or what I believe or what, or anything like that. If the government makes the decision to shoot it down, they're going to shoot it down. If they decide not to shoot it down, they're not going to shoot it down. Like what I believe on what China says versus what we say matters 0.0% because I ultimately have no impact in it whatsoever.
I don't know that that's totally true, but I get what you're saying.
Like if it's not like the government is sending a poll to our phones every day being like, should we do this and shoot this balloon down?
Yeah, that's true.
China says it's this, but we think it's this. Like there's nothing to me that like I don't physically control it in the moment that it's happening. So what I believe really doesn't matter right now.
If you think about it from like the perspective of like global or even like local politics, right, though, like if there was a massive outrage from the American people about them having shot it down, right, maybe they don't shoot down number 2 and number 3 or however many there are, like, so I don't think that your opinion doesn't matter in the scope of the larger picture of politics, but I do understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
The second part of this is a quick, for example, before I move into the second full section of this, which is if you didn't know, China paid a lot of money to Hollywood to make it so that the adversary in Top Gun 2 wasn't China.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like neutral country X as opposed to China or... and I don't know how much Russia does this too, but you can actually Google it and look on YouTube, and there's a pretty good video of a lecture about Chinese manipulation of Hollywood media. If you ever feel like doing that, it's actually pretty interesting shit. Okay, second part of this, because I don't have a ton of time, is chemical spills. Multiple, which is crazy. Like, how does this happen back to back to back? So you have Ohio, and then you have... Oh, shit, what was the one right after that? I'm going to blank.
Tucson.
I thought there was one in between the two. I thought there was 3 now. I could be wrong. It might just be the 2. But either way, you have at least Ohio and then Tucson. And if you haven't seen the videos, Ohio is fucking crazy. Like, some people are taking pictures from commercial flights, and it is like a fucking nuclear bomb went off. Like, there's this huge black circle in the sky. Yeah. It is insane.
I saw a video of somebody who had, I think it was like a Geiger count, like a radiation detector, and they were like in their house, and it was like going crazy.
Yeah. And so if you didn't know, I used to live in Tucson, and I still get like alerts sometimes from there.
Yeah.
And I got an alert from Tucson that said, if you live where I used to live, vaguely, you were supposed to turn off your air conditioner, turn off your heater, and do everything that you could to stay inside and not get outside air into your house. because whatever it was so toxic.
Yeah.
And the video came out shortly. I saw it on Reddit after that, where it is like this orange chemical, and it's just like thick clouds just going right across everybody's cars on the highway. So where this actually happened, I lived quite a ways away from, and they're telling people that lived in my old area to keep into their house, and people are literally driving their fucking cars that are pulling air into the cabin straight through this shit. So, like, holy fucking shit, this is crazy, right? And I think the important thing to note here is, at least with the train situation, that it was Trump legislation that revoked certain, like, mandatory upgrades from the Obama administration to the rail industry that potentially led to this, right? Like, I don't know that those are, necessarily completely correlated yet, but so anyway, politically or otherwise, I was just curious what your thoughts were on the train shit too.
Because I don't want to be unalived by certain agencies, I won't say my full opinions on everything that's going on. No, I'm kidding. I think it's just a massive coincidence that is not maybe so massive, if this makes sense. Like, it's a massive coincidence that all of these events are happening right now. Why is it massive coincidence? Are they trying to cover up the release of something else? And that's why the media is pushing their attention towards that a little bit more heavily. I'm inclined to believe that things like this happen more frequently than we hear about, and the media just chooses to push it. Maybe because these are more public and these are at a larger level. But I think we're hearing about it just because it's impossible not to hear about this kind of thing anymore if it were to happen. Like, back in the day, shit went wrong. Like, say at a nuclear power plant, you had a near reactor breakdown or whatever it could have been. Like, you maybe would have never heard about it just because social media wasn't around, the media wasn't as powerful then as it is now. So I think we just hear about it a little bit more. I think it's, again, a crazy coincidence that two things have happened.
I do too. I do think it's a coincidence.
It's also not the first time this has happened, though. Like, there's this almost identical spill of the same material that happened in Ohio, happened in 2012. It's not the first time these things have happened. So I think it's just a crazy coincidence that it's happening right now, which is happening, as Uncle Kyle stated in the chat, right after a certain thing was released. Just saying, it was the same day.
One of the funny things about it too, though, is that the balloon shoot down happened similar time frame to the Ohio thing, right? And they're like, a lot of people out there are going, the media is refusing to cover Ohio in favor of covering the balloon, rather than really draw attention to the fact that this is a huge problem, because it's basically upgrades. And I think it was like, I'd have to look at the actual like legislation from the Obama administration, but the big thing was like they were supposed to be upgrading like brakes and other things to make it so trains weren't going off course or off the rails. And then Trump was like, fuck all that. We're taking all of those requirements away. Don't need to upgrade any infrastructure or make any of the improvements that were mandated from the previous administration. So I think it's kind of scary, man. Like, I think nothing is going to happen about this. Oh, and the crazy thing is that the company that was responsible for it, like the rail company, offered $25,000 total to go to victims. And I think if you people that were affected by the chemicals, and if you average it out, I saw the article earlier and I can't remember exactly what the number was, but it was less than $10 per person to like help with the recovery. It was crazy. 25,000 total. Yeah, dude, it's just like a massive fucking slap to the face.
I mean, this is what happens when you put too much of an emphasis on the economy exclusively and profits and potential profits for companies. Like, more often than not, you're repealing some safety measure or some measure for balance and I'll use justice for lack of a better term. Like, if you let the train companies make more money, you do that by limiting the safety that is going towards not only the people, but the train conductors and the tracks and those immediately surrounding the areas where something like this could happen. When things like that happen and you put money over everything, you're bound to have more issues like this occur.
Uncle Kyle, yes, it's a lot about advertising dollars, and I would go a step further and say not so much entertainment as it is just like, since Jesus Christ, I'm going to blank on the word now. Sensationalize. There we go. That's the right word. Okay, took me a second. I got there. Sensationalization. Is that a word? Probably is. It sounds like a real word. That, right? Like, so it's how many people can you draw in with those types of stories as opposed to just like, good honest reporting. So I don't totally disagree with you, and I think that's on both sides of the political spectrum. I think I'm out of time, so I won't push this any farther. Really quick, Jake, sorry I had my heater on for the first half of this. I didn't even realize, and it was probably annoying. Second of all, you have a kind of a weird feedback off your mic, and it might just be me hearing it. So if anybody confirms, let me know. But otherwise, I keep hearing this it's like a hollow tone almost, like every time you talk. It's kind of weird.
That is weird. I don't know. Is this better?
Kinda.
Might just be the distance with my mic. Might be getting some echo. That's why I switched to the in-ears last week. I was worried about echoing coming through my headset, but I can always switch to the in-ears if it continues. I don't know if anybody in the chat can hear it, can hear what Kyle's talking about. Let us know, because I'll definitely adjust as needed.
All right. Anyway, that's the end of my topic. Crazy things happening in the world right now. Politics and stuffs.
Politicking. All right. Well, I'm going to go up to a much less serious topic. As you may have noticed, the name of today's episode is soup, salad, or sandwich. Now, for a lot of people, you may have heard that when you go to a restaurant, you get a side, you get a soup, salad, or sandwich, or you get the Panera bread, which is going to come up in a later topic for me today. Don't you worry. Both of my topics are about food. I'm a hungry boy. This is something I saw on TikTok, as I steal a lot of my content from TikTok. Thank you, TikTok. So these guys have a channel, and basically the only thing that I've ever seen from them on TikTok is them discussing whether or not food items are soups, salads, or sandwiches. But these items are never
any of those things.
So we're going to go through a list of some food items.
Okay.
And I want to hear your opinion. Are these things soups, salads, or sandwiches?
And have to pick one.
You have to pick one.
Okay.
We're going to start off with gum.
That's so fucking stupid.
Is it a soup, a salad, or a sandwich?
Oh my god, it's none of those things.
That's the point of this. I
guess it is.
For me, it's a soup.
I was gonna say it's probably a soup.
Yeah.
Because it's closer to a liquid than anything.
Exactly.
And it's a consistent flavor throughout.
Now you're getting the topic really quick here. I like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. I'm going with soup.
I'm also going with soup. Next up, fried rice.
Salad.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there. I was really close to calling it a sandwich.
It's a salad with some oil and heat. Just a bunch of vegetables together, and then you throw in one random carb.
Yeah.
It's like a crouton. The rice is the crouton.
All right.
Salad.
We got our answer there. Next up, steak.
Go ahead, I'll let you go first.
Steak is a sandwich.
Okay. I want to hear your rationale.
If you cook a steak well, it's got a crust on both sides, a nice seared crust on the steak, which acts as the bun. And the internals of the sandwich, or of the steak, are then the sandwich.
Okay.
So, to me, it's a sandwich, but I could be swayed.
All right, I'm going to go with salad if you do like mushrooms and onions on your steak. Like when you go to Texas Roadhouse and they're like, do you want mushrooms and onions on your steak, grilled stuff? Then it's a salad. It's a steak salad at that point, right? You put vegetables in there, it has to be a salad. Otherwise, I'll agree with you. It's a sandwich. If you just eat a plain ass steak, it's a sandwich.
All right.
And then whatever sauce you put on there is just like putting it on a sandwich.
Pizza.
Salad.
I think pizza's a soup.
It's almost like a sandwich.
It's like a cheesy tomato soup.
What's a sandwich, Carly? Let's hear it. And then go ahead, Jake.
I think it's like a cheesy tomato soup in a bread bowl.
I don't think so. I think I could argue either of the other ones, and I don't think I could go to soup. Steak is a sandwich. Okay.
She's right.
I mean, I don't disagree, unless you put mushrooms and onion on it. Then it's a salad.
You can't put mushrooms and onions on a sandwich?
You could, but I feel like there's a lacking substance to the exterior. Like the crust, I can buy your argument that is the bun. But if you start putting other shit in there, nothing's getting held on. It's all of a sudden it's a salad. Everything's getting
I've had buns where they put something on top. You get a burger, they put a little pickle on top.
That's stupid.
They do it.
I've never seen that.
Well,
That's silly shit. Okay, anyway, what were we working on? What was
Pizza.
this? No, it's a salad.
Pizza's a soup.
It's a salad. What do you put in a salad?
Do you eat a salad with your hands? You eat pizza with your hands?
I could. Do you eat soup with your hands?
If it's in a bread bowl.
No. Do you drink it out of the bread bowl?
Yeah.
No, you don't.
I
don't believe you.
Eat soup. I rarely eat soup.
Pizza is, and Carly might be right. I mean, like, it's probably closest to a sandwich because you can fold it over, then you have the bun, then it is just a sandwich. You're just eating it like a sandwich. Or you're just eating like a half sandwich all the time. But I still think based on the ingredients, it depends on which type you make. Because if you're talking like pepperoni, cheese, and that's it on your pizza with like the sauce, then it's definitely a sandwich.
Yeah, I still think it's soup.
But if you're making like a taco pizza, salad.
It's still a soup.
There's lettuce on that bitch. It's a salad.
You can put lettuce in a soup.
Yuck.
I don't disagree with you, but you could do it.
Kale in a soup is fine because it holds its crunch. Lettuce would get too soggy.
All right. You have your opinions. I have mine. Next up, French fries.
I don't know. Sandwich?
I think it's a salad.
I think if you eat 2 French fries at the same time and you dip them in some sort of a sauce, it's a sandwich. Why is it a salad?
Because it lays flat, and you can put toppings on it, and you can.
Are we talking plain French fries here, though, or are we talking like tachos but with French fries?
However, you're imagining French fries, my guy.
If I imagine French fries, I imagine French fries just plain.
But you don't have to make them plain. I'm just saying.
All right.
Next up, cupcakes.
Cupcakes are I feel like I very rarely say soup. But this is, to me, again, a sandwich.
I think cupcakes are soup.
You think everything is soup, and I don't agree with any of these.
Everything is soup. Cupcakes are soup.
Carly also thinks everything's fucking soup. Why is a cupcake soup?
Carly has a brain, Kyle. She gets it.
She definitely has a creative brain. I do not. I am not a creative individual. I think I take things at face value most of the time, so. I want to hear why it's a soup, though. I want to hear your justification.
If you look at the ingredients that you make a cupcake with, it's mostly soup. It's a lot of liquids with some dry ingredients. And when you eat it, a good cupcake is moist like a soup. If you have a dry cupcake, it's probably closer to a bad sandwich, but most cupcakes are like soup.
Oh my god. I can't deal with you guys. All right. Carly agrees with you vehemently. She thinks you are right on point.
I knew I liked Carly. Next up, a Jolly Rancher.
Soup. Too easy.
Really?
A Jolly Rancher is a soup. 100%.
Are you sure about that?
100%.
You positive?
Yeah. So positive.
I'm shocked we're getting you to say something's a soup.
This one's easy. I think the easiest ones to me for soup are ones that are a consistent flavor throughout. And like I can picture a Jolly Rancher as a liquid, I guess.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Just sits there and soaks.
All right. Popcorn.
You didn't say what you thought for Jolly Rancher.
It's a soup.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's easy. Popcorn.
Popcorn is a salad.
Yes, good call. That one was easy. There was some argument about popcorn being a sandwich.
Nah,
But
it's
to
a
me,
salad.
it's a salad.
Yeah, it's
A single ravioli.
you go first.
It's a sandwich.
Oh man, the fact that you say single, I think changes the game somehow.
It does, because just wait till you get to the next one.
It's multiple ravioli.
It's a bowl of ravioli.
Okay. Fuck. You know, I'm going to take the argument from the crowd here because now I can picture this. So a single ravioli is a soup.
It's a sandwich.
It's like having tomato soup and grilled cheese. You've got your interior tomato, and then the exterior of the ravioli is just like your grilled cheese.
So so you're admitting it's a sandwich because grilled cheese is a sandwich.
No,
You're saying
this is tomato soup with a grilled cheese.
It's like you took a sandwich, opened it up, and poured tomato soup in it, which is still a sandwich. It's just a moist sandwich.
No, I disagree.
You're wrong.
If
Anyways.
you pour soup into a sandwich, it becomes a soup.
No, it doesn't.
It's an ingredient in the soup.
Anyways, a bowl of ravioli.
A bowl of ravioli is a salad.
Thank you. Okay. We're getting there. All right. I like this. All right. I don't want to take up too much time here to make sure that we get proper time for yours. A bowl of cereal.
Soup.
Correct. All right. I was really hoping you were going to say something else so I could argue with it there. And I was thinking about going with it. Peanut butter.
Peanut butter is a soup. Peanut butter is a soup.
Might be a sandwich for me.
I feel like my default answer was going to be sandwich just because of a peanut butter sandwich. But if it's just the peanut butter, it's a soup.
I can see the argument at least.
I can eat peanut butter out of a jar, and if you can just imagine it slightly more like viscous, it's a fucking soup.
Yeah.
It is a plant-based soup.
All right.
And I can eat it by the spoonful.
You got me there. Last one. An egg.
What style cook?
We'll go with scrambled.
A scrambled egg is a salad.
Yes. Okay. We ended that one on the same page there. But,
okay.
All right. No, I got one more. Because this one, we're going to argue about this one. Beer.
Beer's a soup.
Beer's a sandwich.
I can see where you'd go with that, but beer's a soup.
It's a sandwich.
Beer's a soup.
It's a sandwich.
It is predominantly liquid. And then you've added in things like hops and other ingredients that make it a soup.
But most of the ingredients are found in sandwiches. Barley is in
Doesn't matter.
Sandwich.
You're arguing counter to a point you previously made.
That's kind of the point of the game, Kyle.
If you put all of the ingredients of a beer in a bowl, what would it look like, Jake?
It looked like beer in a bowl.
It'd look like no. Not beer in a bowl. All the ingredients for beer in a bowl.
It'd be a sandwich.
You're just being a devil's advocate here. You know you're wrong.
No, it's a sandwich.
Beer is a soup. It is water and grains
Yeah.
and like some flowers.
It's a wet sandwich.
You're an idiot. You're just being a devil's advocate.
It's an open-faced sandwich.
You're right. We are arguing because this is dumb. Beer is a soup.
And that's why I wanted to end on it, because I knew we'd argue about it. Carly does make a good point in the chat, by the way, though, that an over easy egg 100% would be a soup.
Yeah, it would be. Because of the liquid factor.
And a hard-boiled egg is definitely a sandwich.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll buy that.
All right.
Beer's a soup. Okay. Next. Jake, do you have a beer rating? Are you ready for that?
Yeah, hold on.
I'm ready to rate, even though I'm not 100% done. Nice. That is like a dense. That is a smoothie beer for sure.
This is so fucking good.
Is it?
This is a 4.75.
That's a good rating. That might be your highest yet since we switched to the 5 scale.
Of the Tavour beers, this is one that I ordered from them. This is the best one I've had so far. It's like drinking I could not tell you there was alcohol in this.
I know you haven't ever given a 5.0, so a 4.75 is probably the highest you've ever given.
I think I gave a 5.
I don't know that you did.
I'd have to go back and double check, but I think I gave one 5.
I don't think that you did.
I at least gave another 4.75. I know that.
Okay, if you say so. I feel like most of what I drink is 3s. This is a 3.75. This is
That's
a pretty
good
beer.
for you.
Yeah, it's a pretty good beer. I like all stouts, and to make the interesting thing is that stouts, if you don't do something really unique with them, like a specific chocolate, like the Mexican chocolate peanut butter stout from Belching Beaver, or something like that, they just don't stand out from each other, in my opinion. It's kind of like a brown ale.
You have to do good flavors with them
Yeah.
to get them to really shine.
That's why I've started to force myself down the sour train, because I understand how much flavor profile they add to that, and I don't want to miss out on that in my life, especially while there's so much variety. Okay, 375 is what I said, right?
Yep.
That's what I meant. Okay, good. Do you want to intro a beer? I'm assuming.
Yep. Give me 2 seconds. I spilled a little on my brand new keyboard, so I had to.
I'll just give my cat a hug while we wait for you.
Kyle, Uncle Kyle in the chat says he's got $20 on this Iowa beer. There's a company called BrewDog.
He said Ohio.
Or Ohio. That's what I meant. There's
Different
this
states.
company called BrewDog in Ohio, and they made a beer that's 57.8% alcohol.
Holy shit.
They can legally only sell it in the state of Ohio.
Did you get it somehow?
I can.
Oh. But you don't have it.
Okay. I don't, but Uncle Kyle was saying in the chat that he's got 20 if we want to get it. If we
So one time I tried to ship my brother tequila because he couldn't get it in his area, and I had no idea that you couldn't ship liquor in the mail. I was like, why would that ever not be a thing? And I shipped it, and then I looked it up after the fact, and I found out that you can't do that. And sure as shit, it got confiscated in the mail. So don't do that.
you gotta really try to make sure it doesn't get taken. And I know a lot of people who do successfully ship beer.
It might be
across the country
fine if you like did it
no
non-USPS too, like if you did like FedEx or something. But
Yeah. Next up for me, I'm gonna stick with my kind of like berry crumble kind of thing that I've got going on. So this is Pontoon Brewing's Snozberries Crumble, which is a Berliner style Weiss beer with cherry, blackberry, black currant, graham cracker, cinnamon, vanilla, and lactose. You want to know a fun fact about Snozberries real quick?
go on.
In the movie Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or the book, however you want to talk about it, they mention snozberries, and they say the snozberries taste like snozberries. That author, in another one of his books, uses snozberries as a term for male genitalia. So in the movie, they're essentially saying the penises taste like penis.
I don't remember that quote in the movie. I just,
The
when you say that quote,
snozberries
I
taste
only
like
think
snozberries.
of Super Troopers.
Well, you should rewatch Willy Wonka.
I need to
and the Chocolate
rewatch Willy
Factory.
Wonka. Yeah. I don't remember that being a line in that. But I also don't remember the last time I watched that movie. So, all right, my next one, and I'm going to regret this because this is a terrible combination with what I just drank.
Sometimes that's a good thing.
I'm going to drink a neutral. And I'm going to drink a strawberry lemonade neutral, which is a vodka seltzer.
I've never had those.
They are good. I haven't
heard
had this
good things.
particular flavor. They are good. Carly is really into these and the Truly vodka seltzers right now.
I haven't tried those either. I don't like Trulies though, so
You'd still probably like the vodka seltzer version. They're pretty good.
I'm sure I would.
Oh, it's the licking the wallpaper scene. Says
Yeah,
Uncle
when they're
Kyle?
like the wallpaper that tastes like
Yeah.
the snozberries
Okay,
taste like
I might remember that now.
snozberries.
All right. Anyway, I'm gonna try this. It's gonna not go down well with a stout in my belly, but that's okay. Also gonna put it in this uncleansed glass of my stout. So
I tried to wash I have a water bottle here, so I tried to like wash mine out a little bit. So
I
got a
did that
little bit
once because I
cleaned
had a
up,
couple of like cups in here one time, and I like swished water around and then dumped it, and I just made a mess. I'm not even gonna try.
I respect it.
All right, my next topic. This is an easy one, and I think it's relevant enough for both of us because you and I both did something within the last 5 years-ish, and I want to talk about it. And I think you're going to probably do it again, and I am also going to do it again soon. So that is do's and don'ts or helpful tricks when buying a new car. And I think my biggest takeaway, if you will, from my recent experience, because I just got a new vehicle, is that whatever you do, used, new, or otherwise, if you're gonna buy the vehicle at night, which is sometimes common because people go after work and you don't go on a weekend, make those fuckers pull that shit into the garage or whatever for you so that you can inspect the shit out of it.
Yup.
Because if you find something the second you roll it off the lot, they're going to tell you it was your fault and they're not going to do anything about it. So specifically, this applies to new vehicles. Used vehicles, it's a little probably harder to even get them to do anything at all. But if you are getting a new vehicle, brand new, Look for scratches, dents, nicks, flaws in the paint, fucking anything.
Yep.
Before you ever leave. And if you're buying a car and it's semi-dark out or the conditions aren't great, have them pull it in the garage for you with a good like fluorescent lighting or whatever, and look around the vehicle and try to look for any sort of problems. And then they will write up what they call most people call a due bill, which is just, hey, them saying, yep, this is a problem. We're going to fix it for you and take care of it at either now or a later date. So do that. Uncle Kyle, I'll talk about that in a second. Jake, I'll let you go first. Or second.
Just a couple things that I have picked up, both from purchasing vehicles myself, talking to people who worked as car salesmen, people who still work as car salesmen. Don't ever tell the dealer that you're looking for a specific price. Like, don't ever walk in there saying, I'm trying to have my payment be $450 a month. Because they will
don't do that.
find you a shitty loan that they don't have to put in a lot of work to get you approved for, and you're going to pay a higher interest rate than you probably need to on a longer loan than you need to. But it's gonna be what it is. You know, if you say I want to get to 450, they'll get you there, but it'll be an 8-year loan.
Yep. Like Uncle Kyle just said, don't concentrate on the payment for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't concentrate on that. And another one, if you were trading in a vehicle, don't tell them right away that you're trading in a vehicle. Get to the number that you want to get to before you trade in the vehicle, especially if you have that vehicle paid off.
Yeah.
Because they will screw you on it. If you go in there, you know you want to pay a certain amount for the car, you do have a monthly payment in mind at a certain interest rate, you get all of that. Now you just got a $10,000 down payment on top of that because you can trade that car in, and it's going to do better for you in the long run. And this is contrary to how a lot of people think. Do not get your car detailed super clean or anything like that before you trade it in, because the dealer...
Don't spend $1 on your car,
Well, you can spend $1 on it. That's fine. Like, if you have a couple quick fixes you need to make so it doesn't look like shit, sure. But people, if you detail your car completely, you get to the car dealership and they test drive it, their brain, as soon as they get in that car as the used car manager, whoever evaluates their trade-ins, immediately goes, this is spotless. They wanted us to know it's spotless. They're going to train this car in no matter what we tell them, and they will screw you on the valuation of your car.
That's probably partially true, but
I have had people from 3 separate car dealerships tell me this.
Yeah.
So I tend to trust the advice here.
Let me get into my next point, which is a little bit counter to what you're saying. I don't just totally disagree with you, but just a slightly different look at this, which is the big one that Uncle Kyle threw out here too. And I said I was going to talk about it, is absolutely get pre-approved for financing beforehand. If you can avoid it, don't get dealer financing, because a lot of the times what dealers will do is they'll be like, hey, we'll give you this incentive if you finance through us or whatever, right? But most of the time, if you go through your own financial institution or some outside third party on your own, you're going to be able to get a better rate, which is going to equate to some dollar amount that's better than what the dealership's going to give you. Not always. I would say get pre-approved, figure it out, make sure your interest rate is what you want before you even look at buying a car. Because if you get shitty interest rate quotes before you even go to the dealership, then you're probably out anyway.
Yeah.
So do that first and then see what the dealer offers. And if they offer the same interest rate plus some benefit, maybe you do want to go that direction. I don't know. But
yeah,
get the pre-approval first.
If you have good enough credit to qualify for some of these companies like 0% financing, if you have near perfect credit, and I'm talking, you know what you actually know what your credit score is, not what Credit Karma tells you it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you have recently purchased a car, you recently purchased a house, you have, a way to look it up, you pay to get it pulled or looked at, and it's going to be above an 800, because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for like top of the line credit to actually give you that incentive. And that's how they trick a lot of people, by advertising that. And then people go in there thinking they have a good credit score, and they're like, man, you don't qualify for it actually. But here's this 5.9 back when if you just went through your own bank, you were getting 2.5.
Which is dramatic, but yes, sure.
It's really not that dramatic.
That's a dramatic difference. Like, you're probably not going to see that. Like, I got what I would consider a really good interest rate from my financial institution before I went and got my car. And the dealer offered me something close, but still above. And I told him right when I walked in, I was like, dude, you're not going to beat the interest rate I have. And he's like, well, I don't know. Let me look. I'm like, you're not going to beat it. I'm sorry. He couldn't do it.
Not the last car I bought, but the car before that, when I bought my Jetta, My dad and we got pre-approved before we went through our bank, and we were at, I'll just say the percentages, we were at 3.7, which was pretty good for me considering I really didn't have a ton of credit. I was
Yeah, that's good.
22, 21, whatever I was. When we got to the Volkswagen dealership, they were like, let's just try it. And we'll see. And we got me down to 1.19, which
Yeah, that's awesome.
but again, even they said, they were like, yeah, we probably can't beat that, but let's just see. And my dad was like, fine, whatever, let's just see. And we got to 1.9. You're not going to say no to 1.9.
True, but the one thing that's counter to what you're saying is that you don't necessarily want a lot of people pulling your credit.
Correct.
So if you're going to get a pre-approval, you need to try to get them to give you at least an estimate of what that interest rate's going to be before they pull your credit.
They said they could at least beat 3. They knew it'd be below 4. So we knew we were going to be like in a close range.
Okay. All right. Really quick, I want to touch on what you said, which is the trade-in thing. And that is my other point in this is that everything that you do at a dealership is negotiable. Everything.
Yep.
They need to sell you that car. You don't need to buy that car. Or even if you do need to buy that car, they need to sell it to you more than you need to buy it, probably. Right? And especially the salesmen themselves. And they'll play hardball and they'll do whatever they want to be nice. And the true lesson learned from me on this last one, which was I thought I was doing a pretty good job negotiating, but I know after having left that I could have done better.
Yeah.
And so this is what I'll say. Don't be afraid to lowball a dealership.
Yeah.
Shoot for the fucking moon, right? Like walk in the sticker price, especially on used cars, because there's so much more room for them to negotiate on a used car. You're almost never going to be able to talk a dealership below MSRP on a brand new car. It's just not going to happen, right? But when it comes to a used car, they're trying to have this huge markup. So you have a lot more wiggle room between what they paid for that car and what you're going to pay or what they want you to pay. And so say a car is stickered at 19, right? And you're like, I don't want to pay more than 15. Offer fucking 14.5. Right?
Yeah.
Like lowball the shit out of them. Offer 14.
Don't offer what you want to be at.
It's definitely not on the first offer.
Get above it.
Yeah. And I think that's a lesson learned from me because the problem right now is if you go to a dealership and buy a new car, a lot of dealers are doing what they call dealer markups on new cars because they can't maintain an inventory of used cars to build their profits. So they're trying to profit off of new cars above MSRP. And so I was going head to head with this fucker and he got me a little bit because, true. Yeah. Maybe in the past it's been easier to get under MSRP. It's not happening now. Period. You're not going to do that right now. Maybe when the recession hits harder, but right now, if you go to a dealer, so the dealer I went to wanted $7,500 over MSRP. And the first thing I said to this guy when I got down at the negotiation table was like, listen, dude, I'm not paying your dealer markup. I'm not paying $1 of it. Sorry. I'm not doing it. And he's like, well, this is an exclusive model and blah, blah, blah. Turns out he was kind of right because the trim that I got in my vehicle was only available at this dealership within 150 miles. And I called 3 other dealerships to see if they ever got the trim. And they all said very rarely. So I was in a little bit of a unique situation with the specific trim that I was trying to get. But with that being said, I'm still fucking around with this guy for quite a while. And I ended up getting pretty close to MSRP. I paid a little over just because I wanted the truck, but I wish I would have given that one more lowball offer before I accepted what I did. So That's kind of the takeaway there. But the place that I disagree with what Jake said earlier is that you need to get your value first before the used vehicle because I was completely comfortable getting my used car value first, knowing what I wanted for it, and also knowing what I wanted to pay for the vehicle. Because I'm okay with going step by step through a negotiation, right? So we negotiated the price of my car first. And I wanted, I think Kelley Blue Book was $8,000 for my car. They offered me $1,500 immediately off the bat. And I was like, you're fucking insane, right? That being said, my car had some issues and some more issues were discovered as I pulled this shit up to the lot, AKA it started burning oil pretty bad. So I knew I wasn't going to get $8,000, but I also wasn't going to take $1,500, right? So we go back and forth. And then even with my car, like burning oil to the point where it's smoking out from the hood, they ended up giving me pretty close to what I wanted. And so I'm okay with doing that first. But then we start attacking the price of the vehicle, right? And which is when I started having this hardball argument with him over the dealer markups. And so we ended up getting to a place that I wanted. So I think you can do it in any order, But the big thing is be willing to walk away if you don't get what you want at any point in the negotiation.
Yeah, that's really the key.
Like, if you get what you want for the used car, Uncle Kyle, I don't totally agree with you. I think if you can have source data for a value of your car, it can be very helpful. Whether it be KBB or an estimate from CarMax or wherever, somebody that's going to give you a dollar amount for your car that is like semi-guaranteed can help you with negotiating. So it's like a little bit of something in your toolkit. But anyway, the point is like walk into a dealership being ready to walk out. Don't walk in saying, I'm buying this car today no matter what happens.
Yes,
right?
That was
be
my
ready to walk away.
big tip is just hopefully you have the ability to walk out of the dealership and say, you know what, I'm not doing it today. I'll shop around. Don't be afraid to drive somewhere to go get a car either. Like, especially in our area, buying a car near us is expensive. If I go an hour north, an hour south, an hour east, or an hour west, it's way cheaper. Like,
Yeah.
way cheaper. You don't hit the same, like it's just like buying a house. Like, location is everything. If they don't have a ton of foot traffic in the door, they are more willing to work with you on the price. If you are going to a high volume, popular dealership that's in the area and it's a popular brand, they're going to say, you know, if you don't buy this car today, somebody might.
Yeah.
If they can't confidently say that, they will work with you a lot more.
After I signed the paperwork for my car, because during the negotiations, that another person showed up at the dealership wanting to buy my vehicle, right?
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a unique trim. And so I'm sitting there and they go, hey, some other guy showed up that wants to buy this. Sorry. And I looked at Carly and I was like, this isn't just a negotiation tactic. Fuck 'em. Like, I don't give a shit about that, right? So after we were all done, I signed all the paperwork. I was like, did that guy actually want to buy this truck? And they're like, yeah, he did. Like, you were actually like straight up competing with this dude. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Good thing I didn't go crazy. But either way. But anyway, yeah, like Jake said, be willing to drive around or look around a little bit. And then the big thing is like, if you really like, if you don't have a hard problem, like, you know, I would say arguing, I guess, for lack of a better term, call another dealership while you're sitting there with the fucking salesperson and put them on speakerphone and be like, hey, I'm sitting at the Ford dealer and I want to buy this vehicle at whatever town. He's saying I can get it for $52,000. What will you give it to me for? And if they're like 51, be like, all right, bro, I'm out. You know, walk out the fucking door or tell them right there to lower the price. You know what I mean? So like, there's a lot of things you can do to negotiate. And so don't make yourself pay more than you have to. Use everything that you can to get that price lower.
Yep. And if you don't get to the price you want, walk away.
Yep.
Just walk away.
100%. You'll find it somewhere else.
Exactly.
All right.
All right.
I went a little overtime. Sorry. You don't have a ton of time for your topic. We can
That's
go on.
fine. It probably won't take that long. So, an article came out recently of some market analysis that was done based off of restaurants and what people have decided or voted on as being the worst bang for their buck at certain restaurants.
Okay.
These are a combination of fast food and fast casual. So I want to run through the list real quick of the most expensive based on the average cost of popular meals at 20 cities across the U.S. Number one is Panera Bread, $14.76.
Hospital food?
For hospital food. Second is Chipotle at $14.34.
Chipotle fucking blows.
It doesn't, but that's fine. Blaze Pizza, which is LeBron's company.
I don't think I've ever had it.
I haven't either. $13.72. Shake Shack, $13.50. Jersey Mike's, $13.23.
I love Jersey Mike's.
Mod Pizza, $12.68.
Mod's not that good.
Bitch,
Mod's not that good.
I love Mod.
There are other people that do the same thing as Mod, and they do it cheaper.
Maybe. Jimmy John's, $11.06. Panda Express, $10.32. Wendy's, $9.89. Taco Bell, $9.69. McDonald's,
Oh, fuck off.
$8.87, and Chick-fil-A, $8.74.
Okay, those
Now-
are all the worst bang for the buck?
Those are the most expensive fast casual / fast food restaurants in the United States.
Okay.
Which of those do you believe the market has said is the worst bang for their buck versus what is your personal opinion on what you think is worst bang for your buck?
I feel like most people would say Panera is the worst bang for the buck.
Panera came in fourth.
That's surprising to me because Panera is pretty fucking pricey and the
Panera
food quality is pretty fucking low.
Ass. Panera is the worst fucking restaurant in the country.
They have good soups. But even their soups are like probably bagged soups from something like Martin Brothers or a Sam's Club or some shit that's like
Yeah,
a big fucking
they
store, and
are.
they just dump it out of a bag and heat it up, right? So it's like not worth your fucking money. Go to fucking Costco and buy a soup.
Yeah. For me, Panera would be the worst for me. I think it's terrible food. Jess likes it. I don't get it. I could make it at home a million times better. And there's one thing on the menu that I actually enjoy, which is the bacon turkey bravo.
That's what I used to get, I think, too.
It's the
There
best
isn't
thing
a
I've had.
single other restaurant that you named, I don't think, that I would say that their food quality was so bad that I was like, this is not worth my money.
It's not necessarily that the quality is bad. It's what has become too expensive for what you get. The market
Okay, good.
has very heavily said Shake Shack.
Oh, okay, so I'm just not as familiar with that.
It's burgers. It's a
I know
little
what they
pricier,
serve, I just-
but
I
it's
don't ever
not
go there.
like I don't think it's that crazy. Like, yeah, I just don't personally agree there. I think Shake Shack is fine. I think Panera is by far the worst bang for your buck. The best bang for your buck, in my opinion, is Panda Express.
Yeah, you get a fuckload
lot
of food from
fucking
Panda.
food for
Yeah,
$10.
that's probably true. Yeah, when you were reading off that list, I was like, man, they say that's really expensive, but Panda gives you a shitload of food.
I mean, McDonald's and Taco Bell, like I think it's just picking like the most popular ones.
I
And,
do
like,
think that Taco Bell has gotten more expensive for what you get. Because I find
saw-
myself now, if I go through a Taco Bell drive-through, I'm spending like $25-$30, and I'm like,
I
dude,
actually
holy
I
shit.
saw a different article that actually pointed out that Taco Bell has had some of the least impact on their prices from inflation.
That might be like pretty true, but maybe I just ordered too much shit at Taco Bell because I'm really drunk. I don't know, but like
I always order too much shit at Taco Bell, so I'm gonna go with that. Uncle Kyle
feel
in the
like it's
chat
not
says Chipotle. I'm assuming that's for worst bang for your buck, and I do admittedly think there's an argument there.
I just don't like Chipotle. Dude, I could count on my like one hand the number of times I've had Chipotle. I don't like Chipotle.
Blaze Pizza and Mod came in second and third respectively, which is to be expected.
So
Especially when you're when you have people that are comparing fast food restaurants, like their brain is comparing that to Little Caesars too, where you get a pizza for $5.
even if you think about like Papa John's, right, or like Domino's, the pizza that you get from Papa John's or Domino's or one of the other big chains is a lot more food than what you get at like Mod or any of those other like build your own pizza style places, and it's probably pretty similar price. Like I can get a large Papa John's pizza and it's going to cost me what, like $13, and Mod for like a personal size pizza is 10. So bang for the buck is definitely low for those places.
I still love Mod. It's near and dear to my heart. But fourth place, like I said, was Panera. Fifth place is Chick-fil-A.
I want you to go in reverse order. Tell me the top ones. I don't think we talked about that.
So say like what people are saying is the best bang for your buck.
Worst, 1 through 4.
Oh, so Shake Shack was the worst. Blaze
Chipotle.
Pizza was the second worst.
Oh, and then it's Mod. Okay.
Mod Pizza.
Okay, never mind. You
And
can
then
say that.
Panera.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. My bad.
Followed by Chick-fil-A, Panda
Fuck that.
Express,
No. Nope.
Chipotle,
Sure.
Jersey Mike's,
Oh,
Jimmy John's, Wendy's, Taco Bell, McDonald's.
to be fair, the sub places have gotten pretty fucking pricey, and it's a sub after all, you know. Jersey Mike's, like, you talk bang for the buck, though. I think Jersey Mike's does better than Jimmy John's, because I feel like Jimmy John's, like, really skimps on their ingredients sometimes,
Yeah.
and Jersey's does not. They'll fucking load that shit on for you.
Yeah, I agree with you there. For me, I think if I were to reorder this list personally, real quick, I would say
Pandas are weighing plates?
none of the pandas by me.
I've
are.
never
I'm still
seen that.
getting
That's a fucking
4
shame.
days worth of food whenever I go there.
Seems like a real stingy Iowan thing to do.
For me, if I were to go worst to best value wise, for me personally, Panera number 1, Jimmy John's 2, probably Jersey Mike's 3, Chipotle 4. I'm gonna exclude Blaze because I've never had it. Mod 5, Wendy's 6, Chick-fil-A 7. Taco Bell 8, McDonald's 9, Panda 10.
I don't need to rank them all. I don't have
10
them in front of
being the
me,
best.
so it'll take me too long. But to make a long story short, I think people are very wrong about Chick-fil-A, at least.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A is a value.
Chick-fil-A is a little pricey, but the quality you get is so superior to a lot of other places that I'm willing to pay it.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A could be a sit-down restaurant.
Yeah. Agreed.
Like the quality of food you get is better than you compare a McDonald's cheeseburger to a Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich.
Plus,
There's no comparison.
I think there's an argument for consistency. I very rarely had a bad Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich. Whereas,
Yeah.
like, especially comparing it to other chicken places, like, I've had bad Popeyes. I've had bad Raising Cane's. I've had bad
Yep.
chicken
yep.
tenders from other places. Like,
Yeah. There's
it's
a lot of
very
shit
rare-
chicken places out there.
Yeah, it's very rare that
That's
I have
another
a problem
thing. The consistency.
with Chick-fil-A.
The consistency across Chick-fil-A's is so good.
The only restaurant that I think has worse consistency or better consistency than Chick-fil-A is Panda.
I don't think I agree with that.
I think
I think they are. I think Chick-fil-A is just above Panda. Panda's pretty close, but I've had
it's
some
like a 1A,
shaky
1B
Panda.
situation at best.
Okay,
The
all right.
worst, as much as I love it, the worst consistency on here is Chipotle. Because sometimes I've had Chipotle where I'm like, this has no flavor.
Chipotle sucks.
And you got to know what time to go and what cooks are working because it matters.
All right, that's all we've got today. I'm cutting Jake off. We're over time. This has been another episode of the Two Average Husbands podcast. Thank you for joining us, everybody. As always, you can follow us on number 2 AVG Husbands on Twitter and on Instagram, and you can follow us on YouTube at full spelled out 2 Average Husbands by hitting the bell and the like, subscribe, all of those different things on all of those platforms. If you don't want to watch us live, which you should because it's the best way to view this podcast.
Especially because I suck at getting us uploaded onto the...
Yeah, Jake's
streaming
probably a little
services.
behind. I don't even know. I don't even look anymore to see what's uploaded.
He
Jake might
just
be
gets
10
it-
episodes behind right now, and I have no idea.
It's not that far. Maybe 3. I don't know.
But anyway, we do go live on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So find us there. But if you don't, we're pretty much streaming everywhere after the fact that you can go without video. So things like Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you want to find us. You can follow Jake on Twitter at Perry_FF. And we do have the number 2 AVG Husbands Twitter account that I already mentioned. I am not on social media anymore, so Jake is forced to have to deal with all of that shit. So he probably will do most of it via his personal if I had to guess. Other than that, I don't have anything else to say. Jake, you can close this out.
Before I wrap us up,
Rate your beer. This is okay. 3.25.
I'm going to actually just follow suit with you there. I agree. This is a good beer, but following the first beer, it's a disappointment. But that has been another episode of Two Average Husbands. Like Kyle said, follow us where you like to follow your other podcasts, your other favorite YouTube channels, your other favorite things to listen to on Spotify, be that music, be that audiobooks, I don't know. Whatever it may be, tell us what you want to hear. We're open to discussing topics that people want us to talk
Come
about.
hang out with us.
Come hang out with us. I'm really going to heavily try and bully Kyle into streaming video games occasionally on the weekends, maybe some weeknights, who knows. We'll get it figured out. At minimum,
I swear too much.
At minimum, it'll be my perspective, and you'll hear Kyle in Discord.
Screaming.
But probably yelling at his cat to get off his keyboard.
He does do that sometimes.
But this has been another episode of Two Average Husbands. Thank you all for tuning in. We will see you all in next week's episode. And as always, don't forget to tell somebody